what's actually banned on a Disney cruise ship. We got a full list of everything you're going to get in trouble for bringing, as well as some tips on what to bring instead. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today we're not just talking about a few banned Disney Cruise Line items, we're giving you a list that'll tell you what not to bring on your trip, like a full list, beyond the expected, weapons and drugs. Like, don't bring those, period. We don't have to dwell on that. But don't worry, this isn't just going to be a laundry list of don'ts. We're also going to throw in a few alternative solutions and things that we always have to travel with that are an instead of the stuff that we shouldn't travel with. Okay, wait, what happens though if you actually bring a banned item? Let's start with that because I have experience with it. Before we dive into today's list, we're going to talk about something crucial here. What you're going to find out really quickly is that lots of the banned items on this list are normal items that maybe you would have naturally brought on vacation with you if you hadn't realized differently. So, what would happen if any of the items we're talking about today were to, hypothetically speaking, find themselves inside your or someone else in your group's luggage? What then? Well, as you longtime DFB subscribers know, my mother is apparently a criminal and decided to bring her scissors in her suitcase when we went on Disney Cruise Line, my 82-year-old mother. Well, she's 83 now. And so I'm going to tell you what happened during that story because it's literally the perfect example. But first, here are a few little basics for you about luggage and the Disney Cruise Line. When you drive up to your port of call, you can drop off your luggage with the DCL crew before you park. These are the folks dressed in bright red shirts. These folks are responsible for delivering your luggage to your room between 2 and 4 p.m. Now, if you'd rather keep your luggage with you, you are more than welcome to hold on to it, but you will have to carry it around until your room is ready, which won't be until after 1:30 p.m. usually. So if your boarding time is around 11-ish, you might be stuck rolling around all your stuff for the next couple of hours, which can be a pain when you're ready to explore everything. Or maybe get a couple of rides in on the Aquamouse, right? Now, whether you decide to carry your luggage with you or not, you'll still have to do a security check procedure, much like you'd have to do at an airport before you're cleared aboard the ship. If your luggage is flagged and needs to be more thoroughly checked by the crew member security team, then you might not wind up getting your bag sent back to your room until much, much, much later on in the evening. We are talking about after dinner late. Like, you've already definitely left the port and you still don't have your bags in your room. Which is why you'll more than likely want to pack a carry-on bag to keep with you at all times that has things like, medications in it. Because of course, when my mom decided to bring scissors in her bag, her medications were also in there. So we were like leaving the port, not sure if we were going to get bag, scissors, or medications before we got back to Florida after our cruise. So yeah, pack your important stuff in your carry-on with you. And anything else that you definitely need with you kind of before dinner. Now, if you accidentally pack a prohibited item, like my mother, the criminal, Disney isn't going to automatically put you on a no sale list or anything. However, they will hold on to your item and deliver the rest of your luggage to your room, potentially very, very late in the evening, and give you a little receipt. Now, at the end of your cruise, you can show this receipt to a cast member before you disembark, and they will reunite you with your stuff. And you also get to go to the giant table of banned items that they took out of everybody's luggage, which is really fun to see what people actually tried to bring onto a cruise ship. There's a lot of rice cookers. I don't know why there's so many rice cookers, but there's a lot. Anyway, I love looking at the banned stuff table. But anyway, the moral here, you're not going to be in trouble for accidentally taking one of these things with you. You're not going to jail, but you still need to take the banned items that we're going to talk about seriously, so you don't have to worry about whether or not the things you're packing are actually going to be allowed inside your stateroom. Okay? All right, here we go. And now it's time to talk about the specific banned stuff that'll get your luggage flagged for sure. First off, as I said, real weapons are banned, but fake and toy weapons are also banned from the cruise ships, much like they are across the theme parks. There are a few exceptions to this though. Exception numero uno, store-bought lightsabers are okay. Gotta have the kids protect the ship from the dark side somehow. And exception number two, plastic toy pirate swords get the green light because you might just want to use that for your old pirate getup on Pirate Night, which happens on each ship during each cruising itinerary. Pirate Night's a blast, by the way, filled with limited time snacks and eats and shows and characters and more, so make sure you got your swashbuckling attire packed and ready to go if that is your vibe. Or you can always purchase some last-minute pirate garb from your ship's main gift shop because, of course, they will take your money. Or you can have your kid get a pirate makeover at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for even more money. This experience does require advance reservations, though you might get lucky and find a walk-up availability, maybe. And exception number 3, the plastic store-bought, like Thor hammers. Disney sells those specifically, so they have a hard time banning them. Plus, anyone worthy enough to carry around Thor's hammer in the first place is going to be good to go in Disney's book. Looking for a few greenlit items that Disney's totally cool with you taking onto their ship while also improving your cruising vacation tenfold? Go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or click on the link in the description for disneyfoodblog.com/ultimate cruise after this, and we're going to send you our free Disney Cruise Ultimate Guide, which also features other handy dandy things you need to know before you go, including facts about all the different ships and deeper dives into Disney's private island destinations, cruise planning timelines, packing lists, and more. All right, so lots of things on your cruise are going to be all-inclusive, but alcoholic beverages are not. That being said, you're more than welcome to bring your own alcohol on board as long as it meets DCL's standards. So you can bring aboard 2 bottles of wine or champagne or a 6-pack of beer in those 12-ounce cans. You can even have room service bring wine glasses and a corkscrew up to your room. Just be aware if you bring your own wine to one of the dining rooms, you'll have to pay a $25 corking fee per bottle, so you may want to keep your drinks inside your stateroom and avoid the extra charge altogether. You can also buy the same amount of wine and beer when you're out at your overseas port of call to bring back and enjoy on the ship later. But here's the banned part. Other spirits are still not allowed to be brought on board the ship. So if you buy some sort of fancy overseas liquor at one of your ports of call, many of us purchase rum, Disney will confiscate it before they let you back on board. Now, confiscate does not mean that they are going to take it away from you forever. It's just that they're going to put them with all the scissors and the rice cookers and then give it back to you when you disembark the ship at the end of your cruise. And since we're on the subject, let's talk about who's allowed to drink on board the ships, because the rules could be different than what you're used to depending on where you're from in the world. Best rule of thumb is the usual. If you're 21 and over, you're allowed to order a boozy beverage. Everyone else, no way Jose. However, according to the Disney Cruise Line website, during round-trip cruises departing from any European country that has a lower drinking age, parents or guardians may sign a beverage consent form that allows their 18 to 20-year-old children to consume alcoholic beverages while in the adults present. Okay, nice try, but you're not going to be able to squeeze any more people into a stateroom past the maximum capacity. Nor would you probably want to, because those staterooms can feel really small, even with fewer than the number of people you're supposed to have in there, right? According to the Disney website, you can't bring inflatable mattresses on board the ships. That being said, if you're trying to find more sleeping space, Disney will allow you to bring a foldable foam pack-and-play mattress on board if it fits inside your luggage and is easy to stow away in your stateroom during the day. However, Disney Cruise Line can also provide you with one of their pack-and-plays, subject to availability, of course. Just ask your stateroom host about it or make a request through your Navigator app. Alas, if you're traveling with more guests than what a typical inside stateroom will allow, and a pack-and-play isn't going to cut it, your best bet is to either upgrade to one of the bigger staterooms, and your next cheapest option there would be a veranda room with a ceiling pull-down bed, which would sleep a maximum of 5 guests, or B, you can always get joining inside staterooms to accommodate 5+ guests by looking at the ship's deck plans before you book and choosing 2 rooms with a little connecting triangle between them. Or if you're cool with going the super bougie route, you could always splurge on a cruise suite, which would give you more beds, more wiggle room, and a lot more amenities on the concierge floors. Bringing electronics aboard a cruise ship will have you walking a tightrope. While some electronic items are fine, most others are going to get the boot, and a big reason for that is, simply put, electronics on a ship are a giant fire hazard. This is especially true with electronics that have heating elements, which can overload a ship's electrical systems. So stuff like electric irons, steamers, bottle sterilizers, bottle warmers, blenders, coffee makers, electric blankets, heating pads, extension cords, power strips, strips. Multi-plugs and surge protectors are not allowed in your stateroom. That being said, here are a few solutions for you if not bringing those items is really going to throw you for a loop. First, for all you type B packers who throw your clothes in a suitcase with reckless abandon, who were kind of relying on some sort of iron to help you decrease all your shirts and shorts once on board, each ship does offer self-serve laundry facilities, and these facilities are all equipped with irons and ironing boards, free for you to use. Second, if you're a parent of a little one who does need a warm bottle for meals, a limited number of approved bottle warmers and bottle sterilizers are available upon request through guest services on board. So as soon as you get on the ship, head to guest services ASAP to put in that request. Generally speaking, you'll find guest services mid-ship on either deck 3 or deck 4. You can always ask a nearby crew member to help you point in the right direction. But when it comes to this, I always just, ran a bunch of hot water in the sink and put the bottle in there. I don't know, maybe that's gross. Third, I don't know if any of y'all were really planning on bringing your Keurig along with you, but rest assured, Disney will not allow you to go cold turkey on the caffeine front. If you're more than satisfied with just a basic black cup of joe in the morning, you can get that at the casual dining options aboard the Disney cruises, either at Cabanas or Marceline Market, depending on who you're cruising with. But if you want the real high-end stuff, like the cappuccinos or cold brews or lattes or the coffees with the cute little characters in the foam, you're gonna have to get those over at the premium cafes aboard your ship. These specialty drinks will cost extra and are not included in that all-inclusive price. That being said, there are still ways to get a free specialty coffee on board the ships. Ask about the Cove stamp cards over at the Cove Cafe. That's the adults-only coffee, tea, and cocktail lounge that you'll find on all of the ships. And you'll also find these cards at a couple of the specialty coffee places, like on the Treasure and the Wish. And I think Vista Cafe also has it on the Fantasy. Anyway, go to specialty coffee locations and ask about this little card. These loyalty cards reward you after purchasing 5 specialty drinks, which may be easier to accomplish than you realize. With each drink, you can get your card stamped, and once you've collected your 5th stamp, redeem your card to get a drink on the house. And finally, some of those electric bathroom appliances, like hair dryers and curling irons, straighteners, electric shavers, are still okay to bring on board. You just have to make sure they don't exceed the voltage limits. According to Disney, each stateroom is equipped with multiple 110V outlets, which are standard in the US and Canada. So 110V items should not exceed 1500 watts, and 220V items should not exceed 2000 watts. Don't want to mess with all that? Well, your stateroom will provide a ship-approved hairdryer in the room if you'd rather just stick with that instead. Which, hey, one fewer hairdryer in your bag means more room for bringing back souvenirs. So let's do a 180 here. You, for the most part, can't bring things on board the ship that'll warm stuff, but you also, for the most part, can't bring things that will cool stuff either. Ice chests and coolers are not allowed on the Disney ships. This is why homemade, pre-cooked, or perishable foods are also ixnayed from Disney's ships as well. But packaged, pre-sealed foods, bring them if you want them. However, much like there are a few exceptions for the electrical warmer items, you can bring a small cooler as a carry-on item, just as long as it isn't any larger than 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. But you'll only be allowed to do this if you're planning on using that small cooler for storing medication, baby food, or any non-perishable items related to dietary restrictions. You're also free to bring reusable gel ice packs on board, just as long as they're completely frozen solid when screened for security. So, all the ships have some sort of gym and outdoor recreational area, so there's really no need for you to bring your own recreational sporting equipment from home, nor will you be allowed to anyways. This includes stuff like archery equipment, so leave your bow and arrow at home, baseball and cricket bats, fishing gear, hammocks, hockey sticks, lacrosse sticks. The fact that they're actually having to tell people not to bring their lacrosse sticks makes me think that people have tried, which is very interesting. Pool cues and ski poles. That being said, you can still bring some sporting items on board with you that you plan on using out at your port of call, like golf clubs, baseballs, basketballs, footballs, soccer balls, and volleyballs. You just have to make sure they're stored in your stateroom at all times and only brought out when you're planning on taking them off the ship. You can't use them in the outdoor recreational areas on the ship. Okay, sorry friends, no treasure hunting on Castaway Cay or Lookout Cay. Trying to take a metal detector through security could mess with the onboard equipment, so it's best to just save your beach looting for a different non-cruising beach day. Also, along the same lines, keep in mind that you're also not allowed to collect shells when you're on Castaway Cay and Lookout Cay either. Disney does their best to preserve and protect the islands, which means they don't want you to remove any of the surrounding nature from its natural environment. But if you really want a Disney private island destination keepsake, you got plenty of gift shop opportunities at both locations where you can grab a trinket or two before you set sail again. Disney Cruise Line loves diving expeditions. That's why they offer diving port adventure excursions for many of their sea-hugging ports of call. But if you book an excursion through Disney or through a reliable third-party excursion site, that diving equipment should all be provided for you. So there's no need to lug around your air tanks on board the ship, nor will you be allowed to in the first place. That being said, if you're not really into the diving scene but you'd still like to snorkel, you're more than welcome to pack your own snorkeling gear in your luggage, whether you book a snorkeling excursion or not. In fact, you may prefer to bring your own snorkeling stuff versus renting it directly from Castaway or Lookout Key, since renting snorkeling gear from these spots will cost you over $30 per person per day. And another thing, if you're planning on doing a lot of swimming on the ships, keep in mind that your Disney cruise also isn't going to allow boogie boards or inflatable floats or inflatable pools or pool noodles or rafts or surfboards or wave boards on board. The pools on board the ships are fun, but space is super limited. They're like tiny. So to make sure everyone has plenty of room for splashing around and to help cut down on everyone feeling like a big old bowl of human soup, these inflatables and flotation devices have to be left behind. Okay, this one's probably a given, but don't be thinking you're going to create your own 4th of July show on the top deck of the ship, because that's just not going to happen, Captain. For good news, though, your ship will more than likely put on a fireworks show for you during one of your nights at sea. Fireworks typically only happen on Pirate Night, but if you're sailing with Disney during a special holiday like 4th of July or New Year's Eve, you might get to see a rare fireworks display as you sail the 7 seas. Okay, here's what actually happened with my mom. I went on a Disney cruise with her and we both semi-panicked because her luggage, again with her medication, didn't get brought up to the room like it should have been. And we kept asking people and saying like, okay, the ship is literally leaving now. Okay, it's 6 p.m. Okay, it's 8 p.m. and no suitcase. So, of course, as we all have realized, she brought the scissors with her, but not like a kid's pair of scissors or a tiny pair of sewing kit scissors, which are okay. She brought a pair of scissors where the blades exceeded 4 inches, which is a big red flag for Disney. And I'm not even kidding with you. The reason she brought the scissors, you guys, is so that she could cut the tags off of her new dresses. So instead of cutting the tags off of her new dresses before she packed them, she brought scissors to cut the tags off the dresses on the ship. This doesn't make any sense. But anyway, because of this, I now have a fun story to share with you and to remind you not to bring scissors that exceed, 4 inches in blade. Anyway, the biggest thing I learned from all of this, before you panic about your missing bags, check the confiscated luggage area of your cruise ship first. Trust me on this, it is no fun to panic about all your stuff going missing while you're literally in the middle of the ocean. It kind of ruined our first night on the cruise. So I know this seems like a good idea, especially since your stateroom will have limited space to begin with, but trust me when I say that Disney is not going to be cool with the majority of those over-the-door organizers. Disney doesn't want any over-the-door hooks brought on board since they could potentially scratch the paint or damage the door itself. So if someone recommends you bring one for your cruise to help you keep hold of your jewelry or cosmetic bags or whatever you want to hang up for safekeeping, just don't, because a crew member will take these door hangers away if they see them. Even if the hooks have like a rubberized thing over the hook, because I tried to bring that and they're like, still no. Anyway, okay. But while you may not be able to use over the door hooks on your Disney cruise, you can use magnetized hooks. So the walls of your DCL cabin are most likely going to be made up of magnetized metal. So magnetized hooks are very useful when it comes to storage. Use them for your lanyards, your towels, your tote bags, your wet bathing suits, your bathrobes, anything. You can get a pack of 10 hooks on Amazon for around $8. And believe me, these babies are strong. Okay, over in Disney World, you'll find that some of their hotels are pet friendly, but in the case of your Disney cruise, no pets. No pets whatsoever. No kitties, no doggies, no bearded dragons, nothing. And yes, Bria has a bearded dragon. Its name is Mushu. Okay, service dogs are still welcome to board a Disney ship as long as they're on a leash and under your control or someone in your group's control at all times. A Disney crew member is not allowed to watch your service animal for you whatsoever. You're also completely responsible for feeding and watering your animal, but that's not anything anything different from what you're going to have back home. If you're planning on traveling with a service animal, Disney recommends that you fill out their special services information form as soon as possible so that they can assist you with any arrangements that you and your service animal might need. Now, there are some rules that your service animal will need to abide by while on board. For example, service animals are not permitted in the pools or wet play areas, and they can't be left unattended inside a stateroom. Depending on the port adventure that you're wanting to sign up for, service animals might not be able to go on select excursions due to the nature of some of these experiences. And this is a big note here. When it comes to ports of call, in general, the rules for animals, even service animals, might be different from what Disney Cruise Line allows. So you may need to fill out a service animal permit specific to that country, or be prepared for your animal to be denied entry completely. It's definitely something you're going to want to study up on before figuring out if a cruise overall is the right fit for you and your service animal, since these guidelines across the different countries can get kind of confusing. So consider this section as a cruise line banned item speed round to make sure we fit everything that's banned on the ships into this video without me keeping you here all day. Ready? Here we go. Much like the Disney parks, don't bring any remote control items and toys on board. Also, don't bring balloons or kites onto the ship either. I know, kites, weird, right? But there we go. Candles, incense, diffusers, also a no-go. Open flame, not going to be cool on the ship, but this is Disney we're talking about, so good smelling stuff is never too far away. No musical instruments are allowed up in the staterooms for obvious reasons, but if you're craving a live musical performance, the Disney ships do have piano bars and frequent performances that happen out in the atrium. And if you're really itching to perform on board, you might want to see if there's a karaoke sign up for one of the evenings of your trip, or I don't know, maybe all of them. Flowers and plants are a no-go, so you'll probably need a plant sitter for your orchids and Venus flytraps back home. No power tools, no lasers. And while cell phones and tablets are welcome on board cruise ships and even encouraged in this day and age of heavy photo taking, there are some electronics you can't bring, such as emergency position indicating radio beacons. So all of you EPIRB folks, forget it. Communication scanners and wideband receivers also not allowed. I know, rats, right? Along with those, you'll also want to leave behind your streaming devices like Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Google Chromecast. That's an important one. I think a lot of people would probably bring that stuff. There's still plenty of stuff to watch on your TV in the stateroom if you're hoping for an evening to relax, unwind, and eat unlimited Mickey premium bars in the comfort of your bed and jammies. But that said, it's mostly Disney stuff. So if you want to bring your computer, just have a streaming service loaded on there and watch your shows, buying the good Wi-Fi on board, I guess. Now, these next few items aren't straight up banned, but if you have them in your suitcase, Disney will hold on to your stuff for further inspection, much like they would if they were confiscating a banned item, before giving your suitcase the all clear. Yellow light items that receive the Disney Cruise Line seal of approval after additional review include baby monitors, humidifiers, portable fans, sleep machines, and white noise machines. Okay, turning you loose now, get to packing for that big Disney cruise of yours, or if you're not quite ready to take matters into your own hands just yet, remember that we've got more Disney cruise planning videos that you can check out next, like the Everything You Don't Want to Miss on Disney Cruise Line. And don't forget to pick up our free Disney Cruise Ultimate Guide right now over at disneyfoodblog.com/ultimate cruise. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.